Hello again. Whenever I hear theories such as the Great Replacement or the Kalergi Plan being bandied about, I will confess that my eyes begin to glaze over a little. The reason is that these are convoluted and complicated ideas and quite unnecessary. Working on the assumption that the simplest explanation is usually the best one, always provided that it covers all the salient facts, the appallingly high levels of immigration to Britain can all be adequately explained by financial interest. Perhaps if we focus on one single aspect of immigration, one which was responsible for the entry to this country of over 250,000 people last year, then we might get some idea of why we have become so keen on immigration and why it has little or nothing to do with any actual plan. When I was young, no more than 10% of teenagers went to university, and they didn't have to pay a penny. They got grants either from the local authority or elsewhere, and so when they left, they weren't burdened by debt. Everybody else left school at 15 or 16 and went to work at once. Somewhere along the line, it was decided that it would be fairer if more people attended university. This was social engineering. There was no actual need for more people to go to university than that 10%. These days, the figure is closer to 50%, and of course the government and local authorities cannot afford to pay all their fees and living expenses, so instead they lend them the money that they need. These are what are known as student loans, of course. Even so, the books don't balance because the amount that can be charged and lent to students is more or less frozen, and so most universities have the devil of a job to balance their books. The solution is simple. They allow students from India, China and elsewhere to come and study at our universities and then charge them a huge price for doing so. No cut-price loans or student loans for them. This is how many universities survive now. The home students are a loss-making enterprise, and the real income is from foreign students. The universities have in effect turned into businesses. That is why in the year ending 2023 there was a net inflow of 263,000 foreign students to this country. That's more than the entire population of the city of Southampton. Many of them never return to their own countries. Their student visas are converted into ones allowing them to live and work here. Best of all, even as students, they can bring their families over with them. Or at least they could until a few days ago when Rishi Sunak desperately tried to make out he was going to stop that particular racket. Foreign students are a major part of the net immigration to this country, which some of us think is causing such problems in everything from housing to medical care. Now that the government have decided to reduce the number of students coming here and to prevent them from bringing their wives and kids and aged parents with them, some universities are in a cold sweat. Their books are only just balancing, and if the number of foreign students declines, then they won't be able to make ends meet. Around 40% of universities are so dependent on the money they're getting from these overseas students that they are warning they might go bust if the numbers are reduced. In the description to this video, I give a link to a newspaper article on this subject. And right there you can see one way in which Britain is addicted to immigration. There is no mysterious plot by Jews or communists to replace us with foreigners. It's simple economics. That is why net immigration by foreign students reached 263,000 last year, and no other reason. Money. I could outline a similar story for care homes and farms, but it amounts to the same thing: money. We are addicted to cheap foreign labour as well as foreign students, and that is why immigration is currently sky high. Our economy, along with the higher education sector, is horribly dependent upon foreign immigrants, And until that changes, immigration to this country will continue to rise.